We asked them both what would motivate them to participate, what would discourage them from doing so, and which would be their own reasons to support an effort like this. Also, we asked them to make their suggestions about ways of increasing participation in the study. After contacting and taking consent from the principals of randomly selected elementary schools in West Thessaloniki, we invited the parents of A-class students to meetings so as to make a short presentation of the study and then form focus groups, then talk about their perspectives on this. Most of the parents that showed up were women at 70%. The meetings were recorded with the parents' written permission and then transcribed verbatim by two separate researchers, me and Ms. Chrysicou, and checked by our supervisor. To analyze the data, we used the methodology of thematic content analysis. From the analysis of the parents' answers, we concluded that they liked the fact that their kids' health was going to be systematically monitored throughout the 6 years of primary school. Another aspect of the study, pleasant parents, was the simplicity of the study design and the fact that we couldn't take blood samples. We all can imagine why. Moreover, we found out that many parents had trust into the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki and deeply appreciated its long presence and contribution to Greek society. Also, the majority of them were inspired by the impact and the long-term possible benefits for the future generations and were willing to help in the creation of a Greek data registry. Another positive aspect of the study was that participation was going to be free of charge. On the other hand, some parents were anxious and hesitant about taking part because of suspiciousness concerning personal data protection issues. Specifically, they were worried about the possibility of a disclosure of their children's medical file to someone who could take advantage of this and perhaps stigmatize them, meaning insurance companies. They were also thinking about the possibility of trading their personal data and selling them to various companies that could use them, perhaps for their own benefits. In addition, we found out that part of the parents were insecure about having to store the biological samples for a long period of time. Another aspect of taking part in such a study is that it requires multi-year commitment, a fact that Greeks are not used to. On the other hand, quite many parents were of the opinion that the requirements of the project were minimum. The parents' suggestions so as to help us approach more effectively other parents includes the use of our info flyer as a first approach, accompanied necessarily by a face-to-face meeting to answer the questions derived from the flyer and reassure parents on ethical issues. Many were those that insisted on utilizing social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram, and by making a small video about the project and its core idea and sharing it online to drive attention. Other suggestions included putting emphasis on security of personal data, absence of inconvenience for children and parents, and the opportunity for long-term monitoring of children. Additional participation incentives would include optional parents' counseling by trained specialists such as dietitians or psychologists, disclosure of comparative school results even at a national level, as well as financial incentives with a preference towards each participating school rather than for the families themselves, because such a thing could trigger suspicion. As a father said, this could backfire for someone to think it's a trap. Thanks for your attention. At this point, I would like to ask Ms. Chrysicou to continue the presentation and tell you about the teacher's perspective.
Hello to everyone. Just a moment so that I can share my presentation. Okay. In my turn, I would like to thank Professor Macris for his invitation and Professor Chimshu for the support throughout the whole process. The aim of this study was to capture teachers' perspectives on the implementation of cohort studies to monitor children's health in the school environment. The motivations they may recognize in supporting such initiatives were identified, as well as potential barriers to their implementation. At the end, suggestions were made regarding ways to eliminate those hesitations. Firstly, we contacted the principals of randomly selected elementary schools in West Thessaloniki, as Athina said. Individual semi-structured interviews with primary school teachers from 10 primary schools in West Thessaloniki were conducted during April until August 2024. The interviews were implemented online after signed consent and were video recorded via the Zoom platform. For the qualitative analysis of the data obtained from the questions, the methodology of thematic content analysis was used. The data analysis was initially carried out by two researchers, me and Athina, and checked by the supervising professor. The main themes emerged from the participants' responses were identified, and themes and sub-themes were created, which included verbatim representative quotes from the participants. So, what could motivate the teachers to participate in a study? The first reason that many of them expressed was the importance of health promotion at school. They said that by involving children in a cohort study, which requires a long-term cooperation with them and with their parents, a sense of responsibility is fostered to them, which will influence children in various areas during their transition to adulthood. At the same time, as the study addresses health issues, it encourages them and their families to adopt a healthy lifestyle. It is worth noting that the main motivation mentioned by several participants was their desire to contribute to the research field in general. Teachers also expressed their wish to receive material benefits for the improvement of the school environment, such as water or air filters. Moral satisfaction, which the participants would gain, as well as their pleasure from a new experience, was mentioned as a motive for their participation. In addition, the participation of a school in research activities strengthens its reputation and improves the prestige of the school, and thus that of the teachers working there. So, the fact that their school would become popular in a way played an important role for them. Furthermore, interest was expressed in monitoring the progress of the children's health during the period of the study and the results it will bring about. When teachers were asked which hesitations they personally have, they expressed none. All of them were positive in joining in a study. However, they had a lot to say about the parental response. According to them, a major obstacle that the researcher may encounter when recruiting participants for a cohort study is the reluctance of parents to disclose information about their children's personal data. This concern, they believe, is due to parents' fear of having this information used in the future by third parties in improper ways that could expose their children's privacy. Specifically, the word that was most used in order to describe the reasons for the hesitation of the parents was the word suspicion. A lot of them said that we have to convince the parents about the smallest detail, about everything, and to make them be 100% sure that the personal data of their children will not be used in any inappropriate way. It was also reported that while parents show confidence in the school's actions, they are increasingly hesitant of initiatives carried out by external organizations. And the reason for that, as the teacher said, was that they did not know personally the organization that will carry out the study. They do not have a personal relationship with them, as they do with the teachers at school, who they see every day, and they trust them not only with their child, but in general. The third reason that the teachers expressed regarding the hesitation of the parents was the main lack of motivation from their part, which could be either because of general lack of interest in the research field or because of lack of time. Every parent nowadays is faced with many obligations concerning their children and their personal lives, resulting in a severe lack of time on their part. And as a result, their ability to take on additional responsibilities, such as participating in a study, is limited. So, in order to eliminate parents' concerns and to encourage them to participate in research activities, the main solution proposed was for the researchers to fully inform the parents in a way that is as clear and understandable as possible, in order to build trust and to encourage their participation in the research. Informing parents face-to-face was considered an important way. However, the possibility of an online presentation was also suggested. In this way, the parents would be able to talk from the convenience of their home, for example, and maybe those who did not have the time to come to a live presentation could be able to participate from home. They also suggest that it would be of benefit if we use alternative ways to increase not only the interest of the parent, but also that of the children. The use of a video, for example, including the purpose and benefits of the study, was considered to enhance participation and improves parents' understanding of the topic. It was mentioned as a potentially powerful and effective tool for communicating the information. Animation in the video to encourage children was also an idea, as this action creates a more enjoyable and engaging experience for the children. Since nowadays everyone uses their mobile phone for a long time per day, and almost everyone is engaged with social media, a school principal said, as an alternative way of informing parents, we could use the creation of a social media campaign, which means, again, to make a video with all that we would like to present, but this time to make it available in all the social media and also to use advertisements about it. A big part of the conversation was the content of the information that should be given to the parents and which form should this have. It was pointed out that it is important to make them understand that the study focuses on their child's well-being and to emphasize the benefits they will gain from participating in it. The reference to benefits highlighted by previous studies on similar issues was also considered an integral part of the presentation. It was mentioned by one teacher that it is important to make clear to the parents before the study starts that they can withdraw from it in any time they choose without suffering negative consequences. Last but not least, it was also mentioned that the medical part of the study is very complex and difficult to understand. It causes feelings of discomfort to the parents just because it is difficult to understand and usually creates negative feelings. For this reason, it is necessary to avoid the use of medical terminology in the presentation to ensure that it is understood by all participants in order to avoid creating those hesitation feelings that medicine brings to them. Moreover, mentioning the schools that would participate in the research and all the supporting institutions reveals the formality of the process and provides a sense of certainty and security to parents. It gives them the sense that it is well organized with specific institutions that support the study, and they have the feeling that it's something really important and reliable. And at the end, most teachers expressed the opinion that if the parents know that there would be a reward for the school, a convenience for the environment where their children are every day, they would be more positive in participating. As an example, they said that improving the infrastructure of the school environment through the use of various tools and various facilities, which would aim at the daily well-being of their children, would motivate them. Offering free medical examinations or free medical material for schools, for example, bandages or different tools that a nurse may need, or tools for diabetic children or children with epilepsy, was also a suggestion. Interesting was the opinion of a school principal who mentioned offering free sessions with different specialists for the children. Due to the current challenges that children face on a daily basis regarding their psychological or their nutritional status, a strong motivation for the parents would surely be these free sessions, for example, with a dietologist or with a psychologist. And these would aim at improving not only the mental or nutritional status of their children, but again, their quality of life in school. To sum up, although in Greece cohort studies are not that popular, the implementation of such a study in a child population is viewed positively by a critical mass of teachers and parents. However, it requires the appropriate activation of their part and the appropriate information of our part in order to realize the benefits that would be gained from it, but also to clarify these ethical issues in order to enhance the participation and make not only its beginning possible, but also its successful completion. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Marianthi. Thank you, Athina, for your very well-structured presentations. We are here to answer questions, any questions that our findings bring to you. Actually, there is a comment that I want to make. It may has to do with Greek culture, I don't know, but we consider funny, and it's not shown in the results, that when we were discussing with mothers of children who were participating in these focus groups, it was obvious that the decision that they have taken to participate is a final one. In the few cases that the fathers were participating, we could see that they would say something like, okay, we will discuss it also at home with my wife and see what we will do. So if the mother is in, she is in. If the father likes the idea, he also has to discuss it with his wife. Maybe this has to do with the Greek culture, but this is something that really was obvious, but it couldn't be written, in the themes that we presented. But it has to do definitely with what we will encounter if we start enrolling parents in a study like that. I don't know if it's like that in Cyprus also. Constantina, I don't know what your...
Yes, I think it's also quite similar. I mean, the mother is very influential, I would say, parent.
Yeah, the one that takes the decision, yeah.
Often more than the dad, yes. Not always, but yes, there is probably a pattern also here, a similar pattern.
And also, the mothers were usually present at these focus groups. It was usually the mothers. We had very few fathers present. It's usually the mother who is really important in deciding to enroll the child.
So, that also rhymes well and is aligned with other similar patterns we see regarding the interest of women to be more informed about health topics, to be more eager to participate in diagnostic, let's say, or screening tests than men. We do see that in Cyprus. Maybe this is also the pattern in Greece. But I would like also to congratulate both Athina, Marianthi, and Athina and their advisor for actually making this happen, because I think it's a very important milestone that is important to be disseminated and communicated with all stakeholders in Greece and abroad. It is a good, very first small step, but I think it's very important because it sets the pace, or it sets somehow the framework also in Greece for other stakeholders to look at it and pay attention to it. And I would like to ask, if I may, a question to both of the presenters. I would like to hear their opinion on, after doing this exercise with the schools and the parents, do you see any other important player from the stakeholders that you would like next to approach, not necessarily yourselves, but part of this effort that should be also engaged and assess their perception and views on the topic?
I think that the first step is the teachers and the school principals, because they have to open the doors for us. If they say yes, then we have a step, we can go on. And then the parents, as we did, but I don't see that anyone else should be, or that we have to take the permission, so to say, from anyone else. I think that these two categories are the most important. Because the children, I mean, if it is with videos and with small something to play and things like that, and if their parents say that the yes, then I think that there would be a lot of participants. But I think that only these two are the most important. And important is also that the child doesn't get bored. Because if it says that I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that and all these things, then the parents would also say that, okay, my child doesn't want to do that anymore, I quit.
Actually,
Yeah.
I would like to add something. I totally agree with Marianthi that the key stakeholders here are the teachers and the parents. Initially, the teachers, since exactly they're going to say the first okay and open the door for us in the school, and of course the parents that have to keep engaged. However, even in our findings, I'm not sure whether the quote was presented, but even in our findings, we have seen that they want to feel that there is also someone else behind. I think it was a quote that came from the teachers that said that it's important to also show to the parents, and I'm sure that when they were saying that, they also meant that we want to feel that this is not just a study that comes from the university, but also we can see that behind is the ministry, and there are other governmental key players who are also supporting this effort. So definitely approaching the Ministry of Health, approaching other institutes, key institutes in its country would definitely play a significant role, as you have already done in Cyprus. But it was also underlined by the teachers, not the parents, the teachers. The parents trusted the university. The teachers, and we also want to trust the teachers, also asked for other key stakeholders to get involved, because they were feeling that this way it's not just a study, it's something really important that has the support also of authorities.
And also, Athena, if
I was going to mention what Mrs. Tsimtsiou said. I think that it's very important to have the Ministry of Health as a support behind us, because it would be something crucial to the acceptance and the participation by the parents. They would feel more secure. They would feel that it's going to happen something with the results that are going to be extracted from the study, and something is going to change in the future for sure. They want this insurance this reassurance, let's say.
Thank you. We have also one comment in the chat by Dr. Rusu, and she's asking, she has a question, what about approaching with focus groups on the school nurses? She would like to have your opinion.
I think...
Yes, Marianne, please.
I think it is an interesting idea because they also play an important role in the school. And as we said, that the teachers, for the solution, for their suggestions in order to eliminate those hesitations of the parents, they said that they would like to have a lot of medical staff for the school nurses. I think it is a good idea, but I don't know how many schools have a school nurse. Lately, for example, yesterday I had a child in the hospital that he came to take a permission for us, a statement for us that he is diabetic in order to give it to his school so that the school can take a nurse in the school. So I don't think it is so popular, and I don't know how many schools have these school nurses. That is the problem. I think it is really important to have a school nurse. There is no conversation about that. But unfortunately, I don't see that a lot of schools having this.
Yeah, I agree both with the comment of Mrs. Russo. We would definitely like to have the views of the school nurses. That will be ideal to get involved in the study and help with all these anthropometric measures and taking all the samples that we tend to get during this cohort study. However, it is true, as Marianne said, that not all schools in Greece have a school nurse. And on the other hand, what we've seen with the directors that we've discussed, at least, they were really confident that if the school has a school nurse, if the director is positive with the study, the school nurse will be also happy to engage. That's the impression that we got. So this is controlled also by the director, the teacher, the director of the school. However, yes, it will be ideal to also have dedicated and excited school nurses involved in the project. I totally agree with you. Is there any other question or comment? So things look good, Konstantina, in Greece. My second thoughts and my fears don't seem to be so big anymore. Of course, there are going to be difficulties and barriers, and we don't forget that the people who participated in the focus groups and the people who participated in these interviews were the ones that were positive to our plans. Of course, not everyone is positive, but it's really good to know that there is this amount of people, which is not a little, okay, and we can start making something different. And I'm sure that we can, by presenting all this with all these suggestions that we have, and you already follow most of them actually in Cyprus, we can really engage more teachers and more parents in this project. So if there is another comment, I would like to thank you all for participating. I would like to thank my MSc students who are reaching the end of their studies in the MSc of Social Preventive Medicine and Quality in Healthcare, Marianne and Athina. And I would like once more to thank Professor Konstantinos Makris for the inspiration the persistence, and the opportunity to get involved in this exciting network and project. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.